there needs to be moments, big moments where you're insecure, where you think, I don't have any ideas, sometimes imposter syndrome. Everybody, all the people I admire have that in moments.
Of course.
And they can access it. I'm someone who can go up in front of a lot of people and take charge and be perfectly in control, but I can also in a second, after I'm done with my performance, access the me that's 16 years old, bad skin, doesn't know how to talk to girls, way too skinny, feels like a loser. That person is always lurking around, and that it's good for an artist to be maybe slightly uncomfortable when they're younger. That may sound like, oh, that can't be true, but it is. I feel there's something to the idea that not feeling particularly cool when you're a kid, or not being sure what your identity is, it's like the sand in the oyster that gives you the pearl. It may be something that you can access. Is that possible for you, think?
My gosh, 100%. And I wouldn't say that just comes from, my heritage. It's like that, I think, for me, comes from feeling, I felt like I was a loser, it was like coming, and I feel like so many artists have that experience of like, they just feel so isolated and alone and uncool and all the things or whatever, I don't know. And I definitely felt that way and still do. And I think it's like actually why I used the word nervous at the top of this is because often when I meet people, I'm at a party and it's nighttime and there are so many additional things that can help me feel relaxed, if you know what I mean. And
we're talking about hot chocolate.
Yes, yeah. And I'm not drinking hot chocolate right now. You know what I mean? So it's like,
then you should try hard drugs.
Right? Yeah.
Matt, she doesn't
good.
know what hard drugs are.
I don't. Everyone thinks I do, but I don't. But so it's like in the cold light of day, sometimes I do get a little bit nervous, and I kind of revert back to that younger girl who I think sometimes would feel really out of like her comfort zone when meeting people and feeling like, you have to sort of like establish that you're like a functioning human with a brain and things like that. And sometimes there's like, So, yeah.
But I'm telling you, there's, and I think a lot of people listening can relate to this. There's a lot of people that would look at you and the stunning, astounding success you've had in the career you've had and say, oh, she's just cool and she knows it and that's who she is. And they don't understand the chemistry behind it. There needs to be moments, big moments where you're insecure, where you think, I don't have any ideas, sometimes imposter syndrome. Everybody, all the people I admire have that in moments.
Of course.
And they can access it. I'm someone who can go up in front of a lot of people and take charge and be perfectly in control, but I can also in a second, after I'm done with my performance, access the me that's 16 years old, bad skin, doesn't know how to talk to girls, way too skinny, feels like a loser. That person is always lurking around and I can access that person, whether I want to or not, in a second. That's just part of the formula.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I think it's the sort of, the kind of duality of both that makes a good artist. I can imagine if you were just like, so like chill and confident and happy with yourself all the time, you'd make terrible art. You know what I mean?
That's why
probably.
Exactly. No, that's why nothing would enrage me more than if a really good-looking guy that I knew in high school who was an incredible athlete went on to become the seminal artist.
Right.
I would be enraged.
No, it's nightmare.
I would say, no, whatever success I have is my consolation prize for years of celibacy. You don't need this. It's just listening. And something that really interests me about your career, which is there's so many ways that I can't relate to what you do. I admire it, but I can't relate to it. And one thing I can relate to is that I started as a writer and I would write for other people and I would write things for other voices. And I listened and watched a lot of comedy, but then I would write for someone, a known performer. And I did that for years before I sort of solidified my thing. And I know early on you're writing for a lot of other people, and that was your way in. And in some ways it's helpful because you can observe. You had you're clearly, crazy intelligent. You could observe other people, how they're living, what it's like to be a huge star, and you can stand off of it for a little bit and participate, but not get the full blast right away. Does that sound right?
Kind of. It's interesting. It's like there is this misconception that I was writing for people first. I actually made a record first, and it was really, really good, and it was like critically acclaimed, but it sold about, honestly, like 11 copies. It was like really, like, no one bought it, basically.
Yeah.
No one bought it. No one really heard of it, apart from like the 5 people who reviewed it. Love them, but like, there was like a small fan base of people who were into it. It was called True Romance, and I was signed at that time to Atlantic Records, and I'm pretty sure they would have dropped me like there and then after that album. And at this point in time, this is like 2012. I could be so wrong, 2013. But this was like a point in time where like record labels had so much more power over an artist and their career, and whether they could even have a career. I mean, I think it's so different now, but back then it was like, especially being a woman making pop music, it was like, if you didn't have a label, like, forget about it. You know what I mean? But right at the kind of end of that album campaign, it wasn't even a campaign, it just came out, whatever. Like, I wrote this song called I Love It, which was sung by this Swedish band called Iconopop.
Yep.
And that became a big song. And I think that started my career of writing for others.
Yes.
And if I hadn't had that, then it probably would have been,
a mockumentary, which I don't think quite describes it, because it's it's a pretend documentary. It can be very funny at times. But the thing, and Sona, you saw it as well, the thing that struck me as I watched it, and I thought, this is true. This is very, very true. And I'm speaking as someone who has no connection to that world and that experience, but you can tell when something is authentic. And this is a very smart, honest, funny, wry look at what you went through. And no, it is not factual, but it's true. And I was really blown away by, just when you watch the movie, you get a really good sense of what it's like to be you. And I know it's a version of you, but it felt to me like a very honest, cool, innovative document. And I loved it. I really
Thank
did.
you.
And I don't know what your experience was, Sona.
You know what? It reminded me of something you said, which is a lot of times people try to justify their paychecks. And it seemed like there was a lot of characters in here who were trying to justify their paychecks in a way. And it shows you... It shows you what it really is for people who are such a big part of the zeitgeist, who have so many voices that are just coming at them. And it was really funny. Alexander Skarsgård.
Oh my God.
Isn't
so
he so
amazing in it. He's
so
so incredible in this movie. But everybody is so funny. It's also very real. And it's such a great glimpse into what it's like to go through what you went through.
We're big Rachel Sennett fans, and she was sitting in that chair weeks ago, and we were talking about her new show, and I just adore her. I love that she's playing this version of herself, which isn't all that flattering, and it's really funny. The Kylie Jenner.
Oh my
Kylie,
God.
like,
yes,
she kills.
But also, I love that she comes in and encounters you at a weak moment and gives you this advice, which is like comically, she's telling you, you got to go for it, you got to do this. But in a way, you're thinking, no, don't listen to Kylie.
Right.
And she looks ethereal. Her lighting is insane.
And I look insane.
She's like, I love the song about the fruit.
But there were so many moments that are, and Alexander Skarsgård's coming in, and he's this very awkward, weird energy. But to your point, Sona, it's a really good point. The thing I like the most about the movie is something that happens all the time in any kind of entertainment endeavor, which is you are you. You are a real person living in the world. You have these experiences. You are following your own North Star creatively, making your stuff. Then you hit this motherlode of insane success. And you're right, credit card companies, Frappuccino companies, sneaker companies, banks, presidential candidates, everybody moves in, and then you have a team. And as we talked about earlier, a lot of your work is flow state work. But now people are saying, now, hold on a second. it's not good for Arby's restaurant if you, say fuck in the song. Could you instead say, I enjoy Arby's?
Yeah.
And you're saying, what?
Yeah.
Why would Charlie XCX be saying I like Arby's? It would really help.
Yeah.
And that is depicted so well in this movie. And it is funny, but it's not just a funny movie.
Yeah.
It also felt like very much a snapshot of where we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people are always trying to depict, there's a lot of movies about famous people and people going through fame. I thought this was the truest depiction I've seen in memory of what it's really like.
Right. Because, it's like, thank you for saying all of that, by the way. It's so kind of you. And you really got the film, which is great. Great news. Great news.
You thought I was an idiot. And the car ride on the way over in your white Ford.
Yeah.
Who is this idiot?
That's why I said nervous. I was nervous.
And then they showed you a picture of my hair and you went, what is that?
No, I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
You're so locked into the edit and you're like, are we insane? It feels clear to us. And then you're like, whatever. Anyways. You're smart. You're really so smart. So that's great.
You know what I always say? Charlie, when someone likes my work, I say, you're smart.
I know. Yeah.
And when someone has any problem with it, I say, you're an idiot.
That's how I'm going to do press for this film. It's gonna...
Who here's an idiot?
Yeah.
You can show yourself out.
It's going to be really good.
You know what's really nice, too, is you have proven yourself a million times over with your abilities in music and as a performer. You're very funny.
Oh, thanks,
and,
gosh. Wow,
no, but you really are. You're very funny. And the way you play things, because a lot of people think being funny is about saying a line in a funny way. And okay, that's true. But there's so much of it which is almost harder to do, which is reactions. And so much of the movie is watching your face, watching what's happening to you.
Right,
and you are the avatar for the audience. So we're watching it thinking, Jesus, Skarsgård's a weird guy.
Right.
And other people are listening to him saying, well, he's a big deal and he's got a neck scarf and but you're taking it in, and your face is you play the comedic moments really well.
Thank you.
It was very funny.
Thank you.
And then someone turned me on to your movie reviews that you do.
Gosh.
And I was reading your movie reviews, which you do on, what is it?
Letterboxd.
Yeah, Letterboxd. Okay, I'm cool. Letterboxd. What is it now? He said, putting on his glasses. This Letterboxd. Young lady, go to your room. You're like a complete unknown. You said, there are a lot of songs in this. Moneyball. This isn't for British people. I love this one because, as you know, I did a thing once we did a film parodying Mad Max Fury Road, and his name's the Doof Warrior. He's the guy that hangs off the front of the truck in Mad Max Fury Road,
friend.
playing the guitar that shoots flame.
Yeah.
Your review for that fantastic movie is the guitarist dead? Hope so. And I was just like, oh, okay. You're also a comedy writer, which isn't fair because I've worked at that my whole life. And then you step out of a rave and do it really well. But I would think your sense of humor it's so important to everything. It's so important to music and to just staying sane.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's I think it's like I have to take everything with a pinch of salt, but then at the same time I'm also like an emotional wreck, and it's kind of like balancing